think we're live. From station WDWL TV, located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. Broadcasting live from Studio B. It's me, the Grumpy Old Man. Hello, friends. Sorry I've been gone for a couple of days, but long story. First of all, we're doing some changes in Studio B, as you can see. Got the mic. You know, all right, well, the settings, I'm just checking all the settings on this thing's got more switches and buttons and doodads. The audio, from what I was being told by the engineers when the mic was down here, wasn't basically loud enough. So they decided to buy a new mount and hang it. I'm going to have to get used to it because smack my head into it. So that was one of the reasons we were off the air. Another reason is my pharmacy basically has been confabulating with my medication for several months. And not so much the pharmacy, it's the damn suppliers. And I'm on a 48-hour pain patch. And you know, it's like with normal medications. You take a medication for 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden, you know, they say, well, this is the same thing but a different manufacturer. I don't care if it's the same medication. They're never the same. And anybody that's been on medication an extended amount of time can tell you. And I have been switched from patch manufacturers 4 times in 8 months. And the last patches, which was basically 2 months worth, I complained to the pharmacist. I says, hey, first of all, it's taking too long for them to kick in. I said, then they no sooner kick in, and I can feel them kicking out. And I told him, on the patches that you put me on, instead of 48 hours, I'm lucky to get 36. So I made a stop before I was due for a refill. And I says to the pharmacy tech, I need to talk to the pharmacist and basically, not through the window, I need him to come out here, we sit down, I got to explain things. One thing I can say, this pharmacist is very understanding. He came out, he sat down, and I said, now let me tell you what's been going on here. And we finally agreed that the one patch that I had been on 8 months ago was the one that I needed. Because at least I got 38 to 40 hours. I never get a total 48 anymore. I have been on this stuff for so long, I've got an immunity. So I asked him, I says, can you order the ones that I was on, you know. He says, well, what was the name of them? I don't know. I don't save the boxes and the information. That's your job. So he goes in and he comes out with photocopies. And he says, which one of these? And as soon as he showed me, I said, this one. The little one. Are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, if you take a look at number 2, it's a big square envelope. And we already know what the one I'm using right now. I said, it's the little one, the little one. He says, all right, I will try to order it for refill for next month. I says, when you get a confirmation that you can order it, and it's definitely on its way, can you call me? He says, yes. That was Saturday. He calls me at noon today. And he says, I've got them. I said, you've got them? He says, yeah. I said, where have they been all this time? He says, well, let me explain something. He said, you, out of all the prescriptions we fill in a month, there were only 2 of you on this high dosage. I says, out of 30 days worth of customers, out of the godzillion prescriptions that you fill, there's only 2 of us? He says, yeah. And neither one of you have bothered to say anything. He says, the only thing that you say is, oh my God, a different patch this, yeah. Which, thinking back, I had to agree with him. Because, you know, I just need the medication. But it's gotten to the point where I'm tired of being a goddamn medical guinea pig. So to find out, they were at the main distribution center. They've been in stock all along. I said, then why did I get switched to 2 other different brands? He says, well, we just order this many patches by this prescription amount. I said, so all along, had I come in and said, I need, confolidation patch, I'd had it? He says, yeah. I says, good. Put it in my file. Every time you reorder for the next month, this one only, He says, I already did. I said, good thinking, Doc. So, it got to be the point, these crappy, shitty ones that I was on were just giving me no relief. Because I've got what they call degenerative nerve disease in my spine. And in layman's terms, the lining of the nerves is getting eaten away. So it would be like you peel away the first layer of your skin. Oh. And, you know, if you get a blister, you know, if that blister... Well, what happens is, as I lose, you know, the intensity of the medication, it feels like somebody is attaching a stim machine. Take two. A stim machine to the back of my neck and turning it on full. Which basically at that point, it's like a 220 volt shock going down my right side. And this shock is like every 15 seconds. Can't sleep, can't do shit. Because when whatever's going on with the nerves, it jolts as if it's So that one's going on. And then, you know, they were doing some microphone upgrades. I kept telling him this mic, this mic, this mic. Well, they decided, oh, let's bring the white and gold one in. The white and gold one does not work like this. Then they brought the fancy black and chrome one. I did a test with that one. I said, no. They said, well, before this one, you were using a Blue Yeti. Well, as much as I hate to admit it, because I'll tell you what, the Blue Yetis kick ass. This one kicks the Blue Yeti's ass. So I said this one. And now we're doing, you know, I'm hoping that the volume is where it should be. I know it's not overmodulated because I would be getting a red light here. I have green. Oh, green means good. So that's why we've been away for a few days. But I have to thank Hez for the shout out. I really appreciated it. Yeah, I was supposed to be on one of the Saturday shows. We had everything all scheduled, set to go. And then he emailed me and he said, uh-oh, I got a conflict. I said, say, no problem. Well, I was supposed to be scheduled for another Saturday, and then he moved, and now the Saturday shows are shit-canned. And I know he, you know, wants to bring me up on his morning show. The problem is, he starts his morning show too goddamn early. Because ever since going through chemo, I have the rottenest fucking insomnia you ever wanted to see. Sleep? What sleep? I am lucky to get 3 hours. And I told him, I said, usually I am just getting into a deep sleep when you're starting your show in the morning. So that don't quite work out. We got to figure something. Because Hez and Ray and I, we had a long on-air meeting, and he liked, the goofy shit that I do, and he wanted to bring me up, maybe get me some more subscribers. We just couldn't put it together. No fault of his, no fault of mine. It just, shit don't work sometimes. So, we're going to email back and forth and see what we can pop up with. So that's where that shit stands. Now, I got to tell you about my trip to the store today. You know, these new cars have more photography equipment on them than I have sitting in the storeroom. I come out of my driveway and I come around the corner, and there's this idiot backing out of their driveway. And I'm looking at him going, this asshole ain't going to stop. And Grumpy's shitmobile is going to turn into a crapmobile real fast. So I'm laying on the horn. They finally stop. We're about this far away. Now, what, you got a screen the size of a computer monitor in your car. When you put it in reverse, that comes on. What are you doing? So I no sooner avoid that accident, I get 3/4 of the way up the street, and I've got an idiot coming on my left side now. And I'm blowing the horn, and finally it's like, and this was a new Escalade, so I know it's got, a monitor the size of a flat screen TV in your car. That's why they put them big goddamn screens and them backup cameras in. So you don't take out Grumpy's shitbox. I need that thing to last. It's bad enough every time I slam the goddamn door, another piece of the body falls off of it. You people think I'm kidding. One of these days I'll show you a photograph of it. There's no floor in the bed. You can see the street. And the quarter panels are held on with a ratchet strap because one day they started to go. And the tailgate fell off. And this guy's blowing a horn like, hey, your tailgate fell off in the street, pal. So I picked the tailgate up and then... He had to hold one quarter panel while I held the other, and we put the ratchet strap on to bring the quarter panels in to hold the tailgate. So yeah, it ain't going to take much of a collision to destroy my truck. Then coming home. On the sides of your vehicle, there's these big ears that stick out from the door. They're called mirrors. And when you look in them, you can see what's down the, I'm coming down the street to come home. And the next thing, a door flies open in front of me. Now, luckily, I was able to swerve around it. So I'm laying on the horn, and this wonderful female thanks me by going, "You're number one in my book. Your horn is number one in my book." So, noticing that she has her number one pointed, I stop and back up. And then I had to reach over and crank the window down because Grumpy's 97 Nissan don't have power windows. So I says to her, "You know what them things are on your doors? They're called mirrors. And they're for you to look in before you fucking whip your door open in front of me." I said, had I not been paying attention, your door would have been wrapped around your front fender. To which point, she verbally told Grumpy to go fuck off. I was really considering taking and wrapping the door around her front fender at this point. But had I done that, I would have probably totaled my truck. So I didn't do what my impulse was. Because I'll tell you what, friends, back in the day, I got to tell you a story. But let me take a little drink of coffee first. I got a little bit of dry mouth. Back when I was in my 20s, 50-some goddamn years ago, I was following this asshole who seemed to be going the same direction home that I was going. And every time he made a turn, he did not signal. This pisses me off to no end because I religiously use my turn indicators. Religiously. Well, it got to be the point by about the 7th or 8th turn, I had enough of this asshole. So we were at a stoplight. And I get out of my car, and I walked up to his, and I tapped on the window. And he rolled the window down, and he said, "Can I help you?" And at that point, I reached into his car and busted the turn signal indicator off of his steering wheel. I threw it in his lap and I said, "Since you don't fucking use it, you don't need it." To which point, he blew the red light and got the hell away from this idiot. Oh yeah, Grumpy would do shit like that back when he was young. Not now. Be my luck, I would reach in the car and one of those long automatic type weapons would be poked in my face. Nope. No thank you. But yeah, I reached in and I busted the turn signal right off the column and threw it in his lap. I can imagine when he got home what he told his wife. "You should have seen the idiot that I encountered today." But I could almost guarantee that after he had it repaired, He probably used it all the time. Just taking a guess. But yeah, Grumpy was a real asshole back in the day. More than I am now. I've kind of calmed the assholiness down a little bit. But yeah, I was not somebody to be pissed off at, you know. You piss me off, you're going to get yours. As a matter of fact, it was a fun story to tell. At parties, cookouts, family gatherings. I'd say, hey, will you hear what I did? Everybody would look at me and go, you're fucking insane. I go, yeah, not certified, but getting there. I wish I would have had a camera, because the look on his face when I busted that turn indicator off, his eyes were about the size of Grumpy's glasses, and his mouth went like right down to his chest. He was like, and as soon as the turn indicator hit his lap, he was gone. Of course, I'm sure until he got it fixed, he pissed off other people by making a turn without an indicator. I was actually waiting for a knock at the door. Sir, can you step outside? For what? We have a complaint against you. Something about damaging someone's car. Who, me? Not me. I'm an angel. The way he took off, I don't think he reported it. Although if he turned it into the insurance company, I would have loved to heard the story. Yeah, honestly, this guy reached in the car and broke it off. Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, believe me. Had I been his insurance adjuster, I'd have done the same thing. Like, yeah, right. How did you break your turn signal lever? I didn't break it. A guy reached in. You told me that story. Come on, tell me a different one. Honestly, a guy reached in. No, I ain't paying a claim on that story. What did you do? Claim denied. Get the hell out. I was an insurance adjuster for quite a while. I'll tell you what, though. The insurance company I worked for was ultra high risk. You had to have at least 2 DUIs before we would even think of insuring you. And talk about destroying cars. 70% of my monthly claims were total losses. I had one. This guy come home a little bit inebriated and sideswiped his house. So I wrote the estimate. Into the body shop it went. Now, the body shop would have to call me when the job was complete so I could issue them the final check. See, I'd give them like enough to cover parts. So I get a call on a Friday afternoon. It was like around 2 o'clock. And the body shop said, the vehicle is complete. It's all ready to be picked up. Now, this was a brand new, I'm going to date myself, a brand new Buick Roadmaster. I go down, I check the car out, I write the check. At 5 o'clock, the guy picks the car up. At 9 o'clock, he totaled it. We have one main thoroughfare where in the middle is a bridge abutment. He tried to move the bridge abutment. Dead nailed it. He hit it so hard that the frame rail on the right side was buckled outside of the body. The transmission was in the front seat. He only had it 3 hours after it was fixed. We had lots of them. I couldn't take writing total losses. I had to quit. But yeah. As a matter of fact, I used to tell a lot of people, if they were following a truck that said Dodge Ram, they did. They rammed it. I'll never forget the last claim I wrote before going to the office to turn everything in. And I would hear these stories all the time. After the accident, your insured took off. You ain't telling me nothing I ain't heard before, people. So, last claim, and I'm done. This was a Geoprism LSI. If anybody ever had a Geoprism, they know the LSI was top of the line. Top of the line shitbox, fruit juice can. So I get there to write the estimate. And the guy says, do you know your insured took off? And I says, well, yes. He was just following orders. He said, what do you mean, following orders? I said, well, you see on the back of your car this LSI? He said, yeah. I said, you know what that stands for? No. Leave scene immediately. He didn't like Grumpy's humor. I thought it was kind of funny. It came to me all of a sudden. LSI. Leave scene immediately. Needless to say, when I got to the office, my boss said, hey, that last guy was pretty pissed off. I said, about what? He said the corny joke that you made. I said, oh, well, here's all my paperwork. I'm done here. See ya. Yep. If it said dodge ram, they did. They dodged and then they ran. And then they took off. It got to be the point I just thought, yeah, I know. But don't you want to? No, I know. Yeah, but I know. They do it all the time. It's like it was written in the insurance policy. Instead of reporting accident, leave scene. We'll find you later. If the car wasn't drivable, they just ran. I'd hear from the police. I'd go in to get a police report, and they'd say, "Hey, you're insured. Abandoned the car at the scene of the accident." I said, "Yeah, ain't telling me nothing I don't already know." And I covered 10 counties, so I heard that so much. I was like, talk to the hand. But I thought the LSI thing was pretty good for spur of the moment. He didn't like it. I laughed about it all the way to the office. LSI, leap scene immediately. Grumpy, you should be a comedian. Nope. Who wants to hear Grumpy's humor? So, any of you new people out there that kind of want to hear Grumpy's kind of daily things. See, I don't plan a show. Well, I have one that we're going to be doing twice a month. We think it's going to be Saturdays. It's called Grumpy's Legal. You'll love it. Unfortunately, I got something to tell my usual listeners. Starting Monday, the bird is going to be sitting right there. Right there. He ain't going to get to do nothing. But I told you can sit in the studio. Considering he wrangled management to calling the show, Grumpy Vulture Productions. Oh, I hate that bird. I'd like to take him. Wait a minute. I'm all confuculated here. I'd like to take him there. Lake Mead, Area 51, and drop him off. Yeah. For those of you new people, you'll see the bird Monday. That's if you come back. But I'd like you to come back. Although Grumpy don't do this like and subscribe and share stuff. I don't beg. But if you kind of want to see what goes on, subscribe. If you want to share it, share it. I guarantee you share it with your friends. They're going to say, what the fuck did you send me? Who is that idiot? That bald-headed old man with the goofy beard. See, at one time I had a big one. And it got to be the point. It was too much to maintain. So I said, I'll just grow one of these. And everybody's like, what's that on your face? Whiskers. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. Maybe, I'll braid it. Who was that cartoon character? Yosemite Sam. He had the mustache, I think. But I could do a Yosemite Sam here. Yeah. Now it's all fucked up. There. I have to straighten it. I bought on eBay. I didn't know it existed. A hot beard comb. Yeah, it's like what them women use for the hair. Yeah, they make it. It's a hot beard comb. And believe me, the first time I used it, that fucker's hot. Holy shit, I burned the bottom of my chin with it. But it straightens the beard. And then, of course, you got to buy all the, you got to buy the beard balm and the beard oil and the beard shampoo and the beard conditioner. Oh, yeah. I'm like a woman, and in the shower. Lather up. Oh, yeah. Grumpy went all out. All the beard products. But yeah, I didn't know they made a beard comb. Yeah, like $9. Free shipping. eBay. Hot beard comb. Gargle it. That's like Grumpy has a thing for tools. Look at these pliers. Look at these things. What am I going to do with them? I don't know. I like them, though. They look impressive. Big, long pliers. It's for people that want to stay away from their work. Yeah. Oh, there we go. $10. eBay. 11-inch needle nose. Check them out. And they're well constructed. I mean, we're not talking Snap-on here, but for what I would use them for, That's the same thing with my amplifier for my headset. See, Grumpy came from the day of tubes. Back when I was growing up, everything had tubes. And if something would go haywire with the TV, I remember going up to the delicatessen had tube testers, and they sold tubes. My father would take all the tubes out of the TV, and then we'd go up and test them. Well, Grumpy found out that they make headset amplifiers with tubes. Blue tubes. Not Bluetooth. Blue tubes. Well, Grumpy just doesn't own one. I have one that has red tubes. I have one that has orange tubes to go along with my blue tubes. And guess what Grumpy found? An amplifier with green tubes. But it's a little pricey. I'm thinking on it. You only need one. Headset plugs in, volume control, but blue. I never saw blue tubes. Growing up, they were always like yellowish. But I'm glad that tubes are making a comeback. The same place where I got the blue tubes, they make a surround sound amplifier that has 4 blue tubes. I'm kind of hoping one day the amplifier goes bad in my surround sound so I can order a 4 blue tube unit. Look at them. Cool. I feel like I'm a kid again. The only problem is the delicatessen don't have a tube tester anymore. But see, Grumpy was smart. I ordered a spare set. I don't know if they're blue, though. I hope so. I'd hate to have one orange one and one blue one. That would look screwy in my amp. But yeah, tubes. Tubes make me happy. Although I'll tell you what, them son of bitches, you could cook a kibasi on them things. Holy shit. The heat that radiates off them two little dinky tubes. Maybe one day I'll do that. While I'm doing the show, I'll cook a kibasi. That way, when I'm done with the show, dinner will be ready. Although it'll probably get grease and all over my desk. And the console. Maybe not. I'll think about it. I could maybe like warm the buns. Have the kibasi cooking in the kitchen and nice toasted buns over my Bluetooth amplifier. I gotta think about that. But you people, now you can go back a couple of days and you'll see what Grumpy's Legal is going to look like. But Grumpy ordered something new. So the next Grumpy's Legal is going to look different. And with that, I'll leave you in suspense. Or I'll leave you going, what the hell's that asshole talking about? But with that, I got to find my clicker. Get my clicker set so I can click off and say goodnight. Okay, we're ready. I will talk to everybody tomorrow. Enjoy what's left of your evening. Or if you're like maybe in Australia, enjoy your morning. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight. And to the neighbors down under,